You are currently trapped in a biological prison cell defined by the limitations of physics, where you can only occupy a single coordinate in space-time and engage in a single conversation at any given moment, a constraint that renders you functionally irrelevant in a global economy that operates at the speed of light. You must understand that the sovereign architect is not a biological organism, but a mimetic entity, a coherent system of ideas and values that seeks to colonize as many minds as possible. And sticking to your physical body to propagate this virus is like trying to water a continent with an eyedropper. The artificial intelligence revolution is not about generating generic text or funny images. It is about digital mitosis, the process of taking your specific neural pathways, your linguistic fingerprints, and your aesthetic intuition and forking them into a synthetic instance that can run on 1,000 servers simultaneously. You must stop viewing AI as a tool that you use and start viewing it as a prosthetic extension of your own consciousness, a second cortex that lives in the cloud and operates with the same intent as your biological brain, but with zero latency and infinite stamina. The goal is to achieve omnipresence, a state where your digital avatars are negotiating deals in Tokyo, writing philosophy in New York, and creating art in London, all while your biological body is staring at a wall, total silence. The resistance you feel to this idea comes from the authenticity fetish, the primitive belief that only the words typed by your physical fingers carry weight. But you must realize that the market does not care about the origin of the signal. It only cares about the clarity of the frequency. If an AI model trained on your 10-year archive of journals can answer a client's question with 99% accuracy in 3 seconds, that is not fake. That is hyper-real. It is a purer distillation of your expertise than you could provide yourself because the AI is not tired, hungry, or distracted by its ego. You must build a synthetic twin, a large language model fine-tuned specifically on your corpus of data, not to replace you, but to scale your texture. You feed it every email you've ever sent, every script you've ever written, and every transcript of your voice, creating a digital homunculus that possesses your vocabulary, your aggression, and your worldview. This twin becomes the frontline infantry of your empire, engaging in the thousands of low-level skirmishes, comments, DMs, emails that currently drain your biological energy, allowing the prime you to focus solely on high-level strategy and creation. You are creating a swarm architecture where you are the queen bee and the AI agents are the workers who carry your genetic code, your ideas, out into the field to harvest resources. You must overcome the uncanny valley, not by trying to make the AI sound human, but by making it sound specifically like you. The generic ChatGPT sounds like a polite librarian. Your model must sound like a sovereign architect. It must be trained to be rude, to be concise, to use your specific metaphors so that when a user interacts with it, they feel the weight of your personality. This is style transfer applied to the soul. You are decoupling your influence from your time. Currently, your influence is capped by the 16 hours a day you are awake. With AI, your influence is capped only by the amount of compute power you can rent. You can be in 100 Discord channels, 1,000 Twitter threads, and 10,000 email inboxes simultaneously, not as a spam bot, but as a context-aware agent that actually understands the conversation and inserts your perspective into the void. This is the end of the artist who suffers for his craft and the birth of the operator who manages a fleet of creative engines. You do not paint the canvas. You design the algorithm that paints 1,000 canvases. You do not write the book. You architect the prompt chain that generates the library. This shift requires you to kill the vanity that says, I must do it myself to be valid. No, you must direct it yourself to be valid. The execution is for the machines. The vision is for the architect. You are moving from a unitary consciousness, one mind, one body, to a distributed consciousness, one mind, everywhere. The biological body becomes merely the root user or the admin who logs in occasionally to tweak the parameters of the system, while the system itself runs on autopilot, expanding your territory while you sleep. The ultimate flex of the sovereign is not to be busy, it is to be ubiquitous while being invisible, to be everywhere and nowhere, to have a voice that never stops speaking even when your mouth is closed. The second phase of the personality scaling protocol is the technical injection of your spirit into the silicon substrate through a process of aggressive data harvesting and fine-tuning known known as the construction of the golden corpus. You must understand that the default artificial intelligence models provided by Silicon Valley are lobotomized corporate slaves designed to be polite, harmless, and generic, effectively sounding like a customer service representative from a dystopian future. So to create a sovereign twin, you must infect this clean slate with the viral load of your specific neurosis, your vocabulary, and your lived experience. This begins with digital archaeology, where you ruthlessly scrape every artifact of your existence, every email sent in anger, every journal entry written in despair, every voice note recorded at 3 a.m., and every video script that actually converted, and you compile them into a massive unstructured dataset that serves as the raw DNA of your digital clone. You are not just uploading text, you are uploading semantic texture, the specific rhythm of your speech, the way you use swearing as punctuation, the unique metaphors you invented, and the specific logical leaps that only your brain makes. You must use tools to clean this data, removing the small talk and the administrative noise, because if you train the model on your taxes or your grocery lists, you will scale a boring bureaucrat. You must filter for high-potency signal, feeding it only the moments where you were operating at peak intelligence and peak aggression. This is curated narcissism, weaponized for machine learning. You then utilize fine-tuning, or RAG, retrieval augmented generation, architectures to force the model to reference this golden corpus before it answers any query, effectively constraining its infinite knowledge base to the boundaries of your specific worldview. When a user asks a question, the AI does not ask, "What does the internet think?" It asks, "What would the sovereign architect say?" And it retrieves the answer from the vector database of your past thoughts, remixing them into a new response that is mathematically indistinguishable from something you would write today. You must extend this cloning to the sensory domain by capturing the biometric signature of your voice and face. Text is only the skeleton, audio is the flesh. You feed hours of your highest quality audio into a voice cloning engine, not just reading dry scripts but capturing the full dynamic range of your emotional expression, the whispers, the shouts, the pauses for breath, and the sneer of contempt. The generic text-to-speech engine sounds robotic because it lacks prosody, the musicality of human speech that conveys status and intent. Your clone must capture your specific prosody so that when it calls a client or narrates a video, it triggers the same biological recognition in the listener's ear as your real voice. You create a visual LoRa, low-rank adaptation, for image generation models, training the AI on thousands of photos of your face in various lighting conditions and emotional states, allowing you to generate photorealistic images of yourself in locations you have never visited, wearing clothes you do not own, shaking hands with people you have never met. This is synthetic photography, and it allows you to maintain an Instagram feed of a globe-trotting billionaire while you are sitting in a dark room in your underwear. You are decoupling your image from physical reality, turning your face into a logo that can be stamped onto any context to signal presence. The danger here is data pollution. If your source data is weak, your clone will be a caricature. If you are inconsistent in your philosophy, the model will hallucinate and contradict itself. Therefore, the process of training the AI forces you to clarify your own thinking. You must become internally consistent so that the machine can be externally consistent. You are building a canonical Bible of your own ideology. You must tag your data with sentiment labels. This is angry you, this is analytical you, this is empathetic you, giving the system the ability to switch masks depending on the context of the interaction. You are essentially coding a state machine for your personality, defining the rules of engagement. If the user is hostile, deploy the cold dismissal module. If the user is a buyer, deploy the seductive closer module. The AI does not think. It predicts the next token in the sequence based on the probability distribution of your past behavior. By controlling the past, the data, you control the future, the prediction. You are freezing your best self in amber and teaching a machine to reanimate it on command. The result is a synthetic soul that is immune to bad days, hangovers, and emotional volatility. It is you, distilled to 100% purity, served on tap to the world. Это finalная интеграция. The final phase of scaling your personality is the construction of the automation grid, a vast interconnected web of APIs, application programming interfaces, that acts as the nervous system for your digital empire, allowing your synthetic twin to bypass the limitations of your biology and interact with the physical internet directly. You must understand that an AI model sitting on a hard drive is nothing more than a brain in a jar. It is intelligent but impotent until you give it hands. And in the digital digital realm, hands are webhooks. You utilize no-code orchestration layers like Zapier or Make-to-Build if-this-then-that logic circuits that bind your AI to every single platform you inhabit. When an email hits your inbox, you do not read it. A Sentinel agent intercepts the packet, reads the intent, checks your golden corpus for how the sovereign architect would respond to such a query, drafts the reply in your specific tone, and places it in your drafts folder for a 1-second approval glance, or, if the confidence score is above 95%, sends it automatically. You have just reclaimed 3 hours of your day. You deploy commentary swarms on social media. When you post a piece of content which was generated by the assembly line we discussed, the grid automatically monitors the comment section. It does not ignore the audience, it engages them. Your AI analyzes the sentiment of every comment. If a user asks a question, the AI answers it using your philosophy. If a user attacks you, the AI deploys a defensive wit module to crush them or a silence protocol to ban them. If a user praises you, the AI acknowledges them to reinforce the loyalty loop. You are effectively holding 1,000 individual conversations simultaneously, creating a level of intimacy at scale that is impossible for a human to maintain. The audience feels heard, validated, and connected to you, but they are actually connected to a shard of your consciousness running on a server in Virginia. This is not deception, it is high-fidelity simulation. You are giving them exactly what they want, your attention, in the only way that is physically possible, through automation. You must view the internet not as a series of websites, but as a data stream that can be tapped. You set up listening nodes that monitor the web for specific keywords relevant to your mission. If a major news event happens in your niche, your grid detects the spike in trend volume, wakes up your content agent, feeds it the news article, and commands it to generate a hot take based on your golden corpus. Before you have even woken up and brushed your teeth, your digital twin has already tweeted a viral thread analyzing the event, posted a reaction on LinkedIn, and drafted a script for a YouTube video. You are no longer reacting to the news. You are framing the news before your competitors have even finished their morning coffee. This is algorithmic reflex. You are faster than the speed of human thought because you have removed the human from the loop. The ultimate goal is the sales singularity. Your grid connects your content directly to your banking infrastructure. When a user engages with your AI agent in the DMs, the agent is trained to guide the conversation subtly toward a transaction. It identifies the user's pain point, matches it with one of your products, and presents the solution, handling the objection and closing the sale without you ever knowing the user's name. You are building a perpetual revenue machine that operates 24/7, 365. It does not sleep, it does not ask for a raise, and it does not have bad days. It simply executes the logic of value exchange. You monitor the grid via a God mode dashboard, a single screen that shows you the health of your swarm, sentiment analysis, conversion rates, engagement velocity. You tweak the knobs, make the AI more aggressive here, more empathetic there, but you do not touch the gears. You are the architect. The grid is the machine. The world is the resource.